Hello everybody, I'm FTA,
I'm Jono.
I'm Rondon.
and we're here back once again. It's been about 7-8 months now, I think. Back.
That was a great vacation.
It was really good.
Oh.
I hate the show. We're back for another episode.
I went to
of...
Hilltop Zone.
No, you didn't.
I went to Lava.
You didn't go to West Virginia.
I went to Lava Reef
Hilltop Zone is in West Virginia.
There's a Hilltop Pizza in West Virginia.
That's the same thing. Yeah.
Pretty much the same thing. And we're back for another episode of Sonic Says. Quite a few issues for us to go through, but we thought for this kind of back from summer vacation, as it were, episode, we thought we'd just give a sum up of what's new with the book and with Archie, Scuba Duba, to give him his full name, Jonathan, trust and respect. And then we will do a review of Sonic Mega Drive issue 1. Next issue we'll get back to doing full arcs of GJ's still dying. Calm down there, boy.
Scuba duper.
So yeah, since last we recorded an episode, I'd say roughly I think like 9 issues of Sonic have come out, 8 issues of Universe, Mega Drive, and some trades. They finally started doing trades again.
Well, we were like, hey, Archie, we won't do Sonic Says until you get off of this hiatus.
I think they got bored of me, Jack, and Stefan tweeting at them on a daily basis saying, "You guys suck. Release some trades." And then after we got back a few passive aggressive, like, "Well, look, thank you for your interest. We're looking into it,
We appreciate your patience.
but we don't buy some Jughead." They finally started releasing some stuff. So we've gotten since the hiatus. We've received, let's see, it was World Unite Trade Part 1.
Yeah.
And Part 2 is coming out. Should be out.
No.
November,
Couple weeks.
probably, no, the World Unite should be out at the time this episode is released.
Oh.
And then we've had Sonic Boom Volume 1. And we had Waves of Change. Part 1.
Yep.
And slated for the rest of this year is World Unite Part 2, obviously. And then there's Control, Sonic Part 4, and Boom 2.
Boom 2.
Boom 2.
Boom 2.
Which that means by the end of this year we would have all of Boom traded and 2/3 of World Unite, and they're getting up with the main book. If they keep going at this speed, we should hopefully be pretty caught up, at least in terms of the main book and some of the side series, by issue 300.
Well, I mean, and speaking of trades, they're Amazon. I mean, I guess it hasn't been officially announced or anything, but Amazon has posted listings for a new trade series, which kind
Sonic Universe Sagas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is something we said they should have done ages ago. Just start
Yeah.
trading from the reboot.
They're like, we're not going to do any more Saga, and we're not going to do any more Universe because, well, we can't touch that stuff because lawsuits.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a second, but yeah, so again, and because they've started going back to their one trade a month, although they're missing January for some reason, nothing has been listed for January, but if they keep going at their one trade a month, we should buy 300 at least. World Unite will be done, Boom will be done.
Yeah.
They could probably get caught up. They could have the main book pretty much caught up if they keep doing their one trade. I imagine we'll probably get a World Unite Collector's Edition because they can't be bothered to releasing any more single Mega Man trades, so they're probably just
here's the
World
thing.
Unite.
So they're probably gonna, if they're not gonna make more new issues of Mega Man, they're probably going to just do new printings or new collections of Mega Man
You
material.
think so, but no, because they had that listed, that Mega Man Master Collection, which would have been the first 12 issues.
But technically,
they announced and cancelled.
Technically, Worlds Unite is Mega Man material.
Technically,
So-
but it's Mega Man material that you can ignore because it doesn't connect to the main series, and it's I'm sure we'll go over this because we will be re-reviewing the trades. It's just not as fun. It's not as fun or as good as Worlds Collide, unfortunately.
No, but what I'm trying to get at is that
it counts as new material.
It counts as new material, so they're just vaguely keeping a hand on that license. So it's not freed up for anyone.
It's funny because like a few weeks ago, I think someone tweeted out there, when's more Mega Man stuff? And I was like, would you like? That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So stop
It's
complaining
not
and eat
the
your
same.
gruel, you ungrateful little kids.
One
Can
second.
I have some more, sir?
You have
What?
some more Jughead?
More Mega Man,
More!
boy.
I think the reason we're not getting a trade in January is because when you think about it, we're gonna get 3 more trades before the end of the year, and they were releasing 1 trade a month.
Yeah.
But if you're saying that World Unite Part 2 comes out on Wednesday, that'd be November.
Well, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think we are, and because Control comes at the end of November. There you go. Yeah, we're getting 3 trades. That works out. Although to be fair though, back before the big hiatus, they would release multiple trades of different. Like I remember one day they literally released. It was a Mega Man. I want to say it was a Mega Man
It was
Universe
Mega Man
and a
8.
Saga.
It was Mega Man 8,
Scourge
it was Scourge
Lockdown.
Lockdown, and it was Countdown to Chaos.
Mm.
Or no, I'm sorry, The Chase.
Which is, yeah, so like they would, because they did treat those.
Because that was the day where I bought 8 also, and I was like, hey, did you notice the papers were really weird?
Yeah.
And you were like, my copies were fine. So then I got to sit at home for 2 hours and be like, what the heck happened to my copy?
But yeah, but it's because they would treat those different series as different series, and really
Yeah.
sometimes
Well-
them on the same day. But I think now they're just. I'm sure it's
They
a.
tried really hard not to. Like from what I've heard them say is that their reasoning behind spacing out releases is that, well, we don't want you to spend all your money at once. And I'm like, take my money now. I want all of this.
That is the dumbest. I mean, on one hand, because Archie is a company that more caters towards children, at least before their
That's
new
what it's
Riverdale.
meant to be.
However, that's really bad for business. You think they'd want to get as much money as they can
Well,
as soon as possible. I'm
There's
sure
something
part of
called
it-
market saturation too. If you put out too much stuff, people can't buy it all.
I would argue though that the Sonic book in general, it caters to such a niche audience that everyone I've
That is
spoken
probably most people over like 18. It's probably adults.
everyone I've
for the
spoken
most part.
to, like who's found this book, who admittedly are people our age,
Yeah.
are just like, give me as many trades as possible, you
I
know.
want it done. We're never gonna get past Archives Volume 20 something. Come on.
Nope. But yeah, and so to go back to what you said a moment ago, Jonathan, there has been another lawsuit. If you want to enlighten us.
Yeah.
but,
So they've been having so many lawsuits, and so many lawsuits, even just based on their Sonic, because Scotty Shaw, I think, sued them at one point too, for something. I think it was for reprinting stories and not giving royalties.
No, let's go through all the lawsuits just involving Sonic. So the first one, which some people like misconstrue,
Yeah.
Archie sued Pendas.
Yeah, but
Because
I think
Pendas sued Sega over Sonic Chronicles, but then everyone
Yeah.
likes to assume Pendas originally sued Archie.
yes.
They sued him, but then like a year ago, 6 months to a year ago, Pendas actually did file a lawsuit against
Yes.
Archie.
And somewhere in there, I think Scott Shaw, who drew the original miniseries, might have filed a lawsuit. I vaguely remember that. This new one is 6 months. It's like 6 months old. Is Scott Fulop, otherwise known as he had a pen name too, but it's his real name, Scott Fulop. So you can look him up and chase him down. No, but don't do that. We don't condone that. We're not Donald Trumps here.
We're gonna build a wall around Archie and make him pay for it. They'll go bankrupt again.
We'll go back to using bad paper.
I don't.
I like how Donald Trump is Jimmy Stewart for some reason.
Oh, I want to be rich again. Give me a small loan of $1 million.
Vladimir Putin, I admire Vladimir Putin. He does.
So back to the
Is this Vladimir Putin Skeletor?
Why? No.
Give me a small loan of $1 million.
Back on track. So,
So Scott Fulop sued Archie because he created Mammoth Mogul, and he sued them because of digital reprints. So Archie did not have contracts that had any sort of
Well, why? Because at the time when all those contracts were written, there wasn't like digital comics wasn't a thing.
no, but there okay, so the contracts that Archie initially gave out to people, supposedly because the original contracts don't exist, some people doubt that the original contracts even
Because
exist.
doesn't
because
Penders
they're
contend
free.
that he never signed anything? Isn't that what his thing
He
is?
did sign something later, but they can't be retroactive.
Yeah.
Is what they're saying. So everything before that point, and Archie claims that there was a fire at one of their their like
Warehouse is that-
important
Yeah.
important papers warehouse.
But they keep with the unsold issues of Jughead issue 1.
So
Throwing the shade.
so Scott Fulop is suing Archie because they are reprinting, or they are digitally reprinting issues that he did, specifically issues with Mammoth Mogul, who he created, and he's not getting royalties, he's not getting, exactly what he wants, but there's also no
Well, from what I
contract,
understand, Archie doesn't give royalties anyway. So even
No.
if they had a
Well,
contract, it wouldn't mean
Archie
anything.
is a very creator unfriendly company.
Yeah.
They
Which,
don't.
The amount of
they-
times
they
they've been
pay-
sued by their creators, it kind of shows.
They pay under industry standards.
Yeah,
they-
because there was that thing a while ago where they were like, "Here's all the industry breakdowns," and what. And
Yeah.
I think I want that one of the main Sonic artists. I won't name names just in case.
Yeah.
But he put it on his public Facebook, but what have you? When they showed what like the average for Archie is, he was like, "I don't make close to that."
Yeah.
per
Well, and
page.
another thing about how Archie and the Sonic books operate, from what I understand, and it's pretty much been like I always felt this way, but I talked to some people, and apparently they pretty much confirmed it. Is Archie Sonic is like a completely separate company from Archie.
So I guess Archie Action, because
Archie Action.
Archie do have they have the Archie Action, Archie
Yeah.
Horror, the Dark Circle, or the Black
Dark-
Circle now. It's the Dark Circle.
It's Dark Circle.
They
Or
changed
is
name. They've changed
Yeah,
the
it
name.
used to be Red Circle, now
It's
it's
the
Dark
Dark
Circle.
Circle. But like, and also you really do get the impression that I would say the Sonic, everyone who works on the Sonic book, any Sonic team, and the
Yeah.
Archie Action line, obviously cares about this book. You can tell from the backups that
Yeah.
the editor Vince, I forget his last name,
Vincent
unfortunately.
Lavallo.
You can tell he cares.
Yeah.
but like
No, everyone from Vince down
Down.
are
Is-
really care about the book.
just everyone,
But-
everyone at like the Archie manager,
Yeah.
you could tell couldn't give less of a crap.
And it's really weird because
It kept the company afloat for a few years.
well also what's his name? The Mike Pellerito, who's the president, used to be editor of the Sonic book and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I mean, but
Was
I
it-
mean,
yeah, but
looking back at those times,
that could have been like either he had to or there's no one else to do it. That doesn't mean
I mean,
he
that's
cares.
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
looking back at those times, those that
Was
was
that,
like
during the dark
tail
ages.
end of the Penders Bowler, kerfluffle or whatever you want to call
The
it.
times we don't talk
But
about.
yeah, I mean, it's really pretty much confirmed that it's a separate company. Main Archie does not give support or anything to the Sonic side of things. It's really just them all alone. And with all of those earlier this year, all of those layoffs, just like during the beginning of the year, there was a
Yeah, like John
massive-
Gray, who was an assistant editor at the time of
Yeah.
the Sonic books. Yeah,
and
got
he
laid
was
off.
the one that was pretty much in charge of collecting together stuff for reprints. So the archives, that was John Gray. So that could partially explain why the dry up, other than lawsuits. If you don't want to pin it completely on lawsuits,
Yeah.
also
'Cause I
Vince LaFallo has to deal with everything now
So I
instead
guess-
of having two people.
Well, yeah. Although to be fair, since then, they did go from under the Archie Action line. They did go from 4 books to 2 books.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure lightened the load, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
But
that
I mean, it's still the resources of Archie main head Archie. It's whatever they give Sonic Archie. So they would have to be like, hey, can we
Have some
you
money.
know.
Joe, do you think then that Sonic Archie had to go to main Archie to get the money, the approval to do Mega Drive?
I mean I would assume so. I mean they probably have like a standard budget, but if they want to do something special, they probably have to get.
Because I'm gonna assume with something like this, it's possible Sega came to them and was like, 25th anniversary,
Yeah.
do something.
If Sega comes to them, more than likely they will do something. Just to keep them happy. I don't know. I mean, I don't exactly know what the inner workings of it is.
We need to get John Gray, because I'm hoping he'd be candid about his time
Yeah,
with
I
Archie.
mean, I know that I'm the
If you want John Gray
Archie-
to be on this podcast, tweet at him. Don't do that. Who didn't bite the crap out of him? Don't tweet at John.
yeah.
Gray.
Don't bother the man. He's busy. We'll bother him.
Yeah.
You don't have to bother him
We'll
for
bother
us.
him.
Yeah.
But
It's Jonathan used to be.
I'm the Archie apologist of the
There
group.
used to be the point where it got sometimes like if me and TJ would criticize Archie, Jonathan would be like, "Don't say that, come on." And now it's gone to the point where he's almost like,
He deserved it.
I hope someone else
Yeah.
gets that book.
Well, see, here's the thing. So here's the selfish here's the selfish reason. I'm like, oh, my dream is to work at the Archie Sonic, do stuff for them. That's one reason. Another reason is if Archie loses the book, I always thought, they have a specific contract that allows them to use the Freedom Fighters and the stuff from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and things like that I really like. Like, those are the things that I really like. And that is...
But you don't
I
like
feel-
adventures.
I think it's fine. I don't hate it.
But
I can't
it's-
sit and watch it for 5 hours.
Yeah,
I could.
I'm with John. I love Adventures, but I can't watch more than 50
Yeah.
episodes. But the thing about again is if a new company were to get them, that would involve new contract. And seeing it's no secret. Sega of Japan, not the biggest fans of
Yeah.
the American characters. It's unlikely. It's very unlikely that if a new company were to get the book, that we would have Bunny and Antoine and all that.
And then third, it's we don't know if any of the creative team or if any of the continuity would go over or if any of that. That being said, if tomorrow they were to announce that someone else had the thing, I would not be terribly upset. I would probably be all right.
Because it's not like it can get any worse than what we currently have.
I like how you were like, I'd probably be all right.
Yeah, I if you asked me a year ago, I would have probably cried myself to sleep for
Until today.
until today, and then I'd be like, it's okay. I'm gonna it's gonna be okay.
He's gonna make it
After
after
all.
all.
But I don't know, and I would hope that IDW would get it.
That's
I
the
mean,
dream.
yeah,
That's the dream.
IDW is a good
IDW seems like the
company
best. 'Cause
with
I think
properties.
I might be wrong, but I think IDW are the company who do the Angry Birds and Skylanders comic books, so they already have a video game.
I think
I
that's
might be
Boom.
wrong. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
I think
IDW
that-
have Angry Birds though, because
Oh, they did the Angry Birds Transformers,
yeah, okay.
but I think that might have been with Boom. That was a comic. It was written by John Barber, who is the editor of the Transformers book.
sounds terrible. But Sonic made Angry Birds and Sonic Dash.
Yeah. So make a Sonic Angry Birds crossover.
The Angry Birds cinematic universe.
Here's the IDW. I would hope that they would be able to make some sort of deal to be able to use some of the other stuff,
'Cause-
like the Adventures and like the Saturday Morning.
Well, I'm thinking just in terms of reprints, because they have a history of doing
Yeah.
good work. I mean, they were the first ones to work out a deal with Marvel to include the original comic book Transformers miniseries, which included Spider-Man, and for
Included
years
Spider-Man.
that was never reprinted because
Well,
Spider-Man was in it.
And the weird thing about Transformers, hey, guess what, guys? Hasbro knows how to do a better contract than you do, Archie, because some of the characters that showed up in Transformers, since they showed up in a Marvel comic that was, or since they showed up in Transformers, the Marvel comic, Hasbro owns all the new characters that showed up first in the Transformers book. So Marvel had to think of ways around that so they would keep characters they liked.
When you said that they would introduce like a character quickly, like Howard the Duck, before they put him in Transformers or something.
So it's
that.
like a Death's Head. Death's Head, Simon Furman was like, oh, I'm going to make this Death's Head character, put him in Transformers. And Marvel was like, no, we really like this guy. Make a one-page story. We'll print it in the back of all of our books the month before the Transformers issue hits.
What a jerk move.
But, Death's Head is... The original Death's Head is really great. He's really cool.
I'm sure post reboot in Archie they did that.
Yeah.
Also we know for
Ian has said that he signed a contract that was like everything I've done is.
Well, also Ian is the kind of Ian knows what book he's writing. Ian knows he's writing. He says himself a 20-page ad for a franchise. That's the problem when you get someone with like an ego like Penders who doesn't understand the concept. He's writing for a franchise book. Like, I'm pretty sure even if those even if Hasbro didn't have those contracts at IDW, the current Transformers, right? If he were to invent a new robot, wouldn't be like this. Hasbro could never use this again. I'm pretty sure somebody with half
they
brain
got
would
some really
think
smart
that.
guys at IDW who can build robots.
You know who's written for IDW? Ian Flynn.
Yeah. So hopefully he'd transfer over.
He transforms over.
He would transform over and roll. He would roll out all the way down.
He actually wrote some really good issues of the revamped version of the Nickelodeon Turtles book, which he was like weaving in that's why I love Ian. He was weaving in like continuity references and nods. That even the show I was like, give him a job on the TV show, man. Like the amount of references he was putting in and like he was kind of adding.
Should we start a hashtag Flynn for Turtles cartoon?
Hashtag Flynn for everything. That's what I've been doing.
Do we know officially who's writing for 17? Should we get everyone to do Flynn for Sonic again?
We should do.
We should just do that.
I am praying. One of those secret jobs he keeps teasing about is 17.
I get kind of confused by those tweets because it's
There's
like
so many.
issue 1, issue 2. I'm like, wait, is this a series?
It's number 1. It's number 2. He's not.
Okay.
So he'll number 1 kind of things have slowed down this week. The next week he'll be number 1 I got the job, start writing today type of thing. So it's again hashtag Flynn. I'd read this wonderful bastard in anything he writes. So yeah. That's good.
Okay, back to Scott Fulop. Scott Fulop created Mammoth Mogul. He, I think he made a company that was like Mammoth Productions or something.
In real life or in the book?
In real life. I think he's founded a company called Mammoth Productions. So it sounds like he has plans to use Mammoth Mogul, which it's it's like once you get to the point where it's like a side character like that, why? I don't really understand why a side character you need to own that exact character. Why you can't just retool him?
Let's be honest. Aside from him being, a mammoth.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can live forever.
And being a mogul.
Yeah. He's kind of Kingpin.
He's exactly Kingpin.
That's what I'm saying. That's why
he wears a white suit.
That's why it's so dopey to be I own this character. It's the Kingpin in Mammoth form. Why would you be so proud of that? It's a rip-off character.
Everybody drink your Kool-Aid because he said Kingpin.
But I have trouble saying King-ping. I say Kingpin.
FTCR
drinking
game. But it's only non-alcoholic beverages.
Every time FTA messes up saying Kingpin, take a shot.
Good old Kingpin.
But yeah, it's like when Ken Penders
interest you in some soup.
You embarrassed me, Sonic!
In front of Penders.
That was a pillow fight. Those sounds, that was a pillow fight. Nothing to graphic.
Scar you.
Skull busting pillow fight.
Yeah. But, you know, Ken Penders made Hunter, who was Craven the Hunter, but with, like, different hair and stuff.
That's what I don't
So it's
understand.
like, I don't...
That's why I don't get these.
So...
They act like these characters are so like unique, but they're just anthropomorphized versions of other existing characters.
I have a theory about Sonic post Ian, where a lot of the writers and artists were like, let's write and draw for the job that we want. So Ken was like, I want to go back and write Star Trek, so I'll put like Star Trek stuff in here. Or I want to do Marvel books. I'm gonna make a Craven knockoff, and then me and Cantervick are gonna do.
You said post Ian, do you mean pre-Ian?
Yeah, I meant pre.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a Fantastic Four thing with Cantervick, and it's like, and everyone who draws like Star Wars chips like Knack flies the Millennium Falcon at one point. It's like it's seriously, it's like a lot of those people just are drawing what they want to draw because they're like, man, I want to work on Star Wars someday. So I don't know, but anyway, Scott Fulop is suing Archie, and it's like, wow, they really have, like, again.
This can't be doing well for.
I mean, I'm
Sega. You know, like they.
Sega should really find a way to pull it and give it to IDW.
Because it was one thing after the last lawsuit, because that was, Archie did that, and I'm sure they were able to work it out with Sega. I mean, I'm sure they went to Sega first to be like, this is what's happening. We need to like nip this in the bud. From what I heard, Sega were like,
deal with it.
No, Sega were like, we're already in a lawsuit with this clown. We aren't getting involved with this one. We just take care of it. But now these other two ones, I'm sure Sega are just like, this is more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah. And man, I'm like, my brain is melted. I was gonna say something, but I can't remember. Something.
Take me off. Come on, boys. So, lawsuit.
Yeah, so Sonic and Fast.
Sonic and the lawsuit.
Sonic and the legal lawsuit. It's the third storybook game.
It's just like he goes into like a law book, and it's like, what is going on? They're like, it's like there's judges and stuff, but they're not attacking him or anything. They're just like,
they're just issuing him subpoenas.
Yeah.
Please rise for the Honorable Judge John Eggman.
Oh, what I was gonna say
John
is,
Eggman.
if
for the people versus Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic T Hedgehog.
Another thing about if Archie loses it
Like
again.
the trial of Barry Allen.
Shut up.
And then Iris is dressed up as a weird guy with a mustache.
Sure, why not? So if Archie loses the lawsuits...
I mean, how... Now, I mean, if the book goes over to IDW...
Or anyone else.
Like, IDW's the perfect place.
IDW is another place, but
like,
I could see possibly Boom.
Oh. No, thank you.
No. Yeah.
Please, no.
Okay, so...
But alienation of the people that have already been, like, alienated from one reboot. Like, I really hope they try to keep this continuity, because I think that a lot of people were like, we're really done with it after the first reboot. And I really, if it does come to, because it's like, seriously, again, with all this legal mess.
Again with the reboots.
Yeah, and so...
Let's be honest. Okay, so there's two things that I'm thinking of right now in terms of different concerns that we have.
There's one of them pizza.
One of them is pizza.
It's the other one burgers.
Pizza dropping TJ over here, always concerned with pizza.
The other two...
Is the other one burgers?
The other's... Yes.
Well, then you are the manager for this Archie social media account. Congratulations. Reggie's the worst. Am I right, boys?
All right,
I
lads.
mean, he's not good. He's not
So, number one, if IDW were to get the book...
I would cry tears of joy.
I think that IDW has their model of licensed material down.
It's
to
down.
a
Because most of what they
science.
do is licensed.
Most of
They've
what
a
they do-
few
yeah.
originals. It's mostly a license.
Most of what they do is licensed. So I think that overall what they're doing is working because you don't hear a lot of gripe
Yeah.
from, people who are involved in the licensed material that IDW
I
puts out.
I heard one thing. Apparently there was a My Little Pony book that was messing with some of the workers
Really?
on it. But Tommy, that was Jennifer Hernandez because we were talking about IDW getting the Archie book like a couple months ago, and she just mentioned that I'd heard one of the writers or the artists on the My Little Pony book was getting screwed over. And one thing that Penders likes to bring up in terms of like, because I'm sure if IDW does get the book, we'd want reprints, but apparently IDW doesn't do royalties for reprints, which might be a source of contention.
Here's the thing I've understood. The reason they don't do royalties for reprints is because the reprint contracts just transfer straight over. So the reprints that Archie puts out for Sonic...
No, I mean, so say like the Transformers books.
Yeah.
From what I've been told, the writer and artists won't get royalties for reprints, for trades of their stuff,
I hadn't heard that. I had heard that the contracts just transfer over, and that's part of the reason.
TJ, back to your point.
Point B. I know that you guys are worried about the Saturday morning
Yeah,
Uh,
characters.
Not really so
And
much to me.
the-
That's more Jonathan.
that's me.
I mean, I'm concerned with it as well. How much can you really do with Sonic and his very limited cast of supporting characters without the Adventures and Saturday Morning Crew?
I think you could do a lot of them.
I mean, Mega Drive.
Sonic Boom. Five
like,
core characters.
I mean, I don't
endless
think
possibilities.
I don't think that you can't do it without. I prefer him having that stable cast of friends, and I like that cast.
Having the Freedom Fighters be on the team does mean they get to use characters like Knuckles and Shadow sparingly.
Yeah.
Because you have a decently sized core cast already, so you can just be like, especially if we're talking game canon, because you want to keep in things like Knuckles protecting the Master and what have you.
Yeah.
So it does good to you don't have to shoehorn him into every issue. Seem like Shadow's over working with guns, so like he's not going to be in every issue type of thing. So I mean, again, I would say this way in terms of the Free Fighter cast, I'd be okay either way. If they stayed or if they went, I think you could, as long as you keep like Ian and all that, as long as you keep the creative team, no matter what they end up doing, I think I'd be okay with whatever direction a possible IDW version would be.
How many times have we talked about this?
Quite a lot.
Like 12
Yeah,
times.
do you have anything else to say about this, or shall we move on to Mega Drive?
I just hope something happens.
I'd be surprised if
See, I want.
if something doesn't happen.
I will say I want an issue 300. I would like. They're very close to reaching 25 years of this comic too.
Yep.
Like I would really like.
I think
them
you
to
said,
be
isn't
the
it?
25th.
It's so far accolades for when it gets to this, even currently, it's the longest running video game podcast, comic book, which it has been for years. It is now the longest running licensed book of all time, and I believe, from what you point out, it's the longest running non-restarting books. So like books like Batman and Superman have
Spider-Man
have been going longer, but they've had reboots and like new number ones. Sonic is currently the longest running. Like no other book currently has issue like 289, what have you. No other book has been running for so long without a stop or a issue number one.
I feel like Spawn is the closest. But I don't remember.
Well, Spawn had. I
what
swear,
it is.
Spawn must have had like a big gap of no issues.
Oh, I'm sure that it had a big gap of no issues.
But this is like Sonic has. Well, aside from those 3 months earlier this year, it hasn't stopped being made.
Yeah.
You know.
It's super consistent. Like it's the most consistent thing in the Sonic franchise, really. Like games have been.
Well, games
You know.
games are by their nature games are a bit more like you don't expect one every month, or like like they're kind of erratic with their schedule. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But right now, since Archie went to 1, they were the next highest. They were at like 600 something. Since Sonic is going towards 300, and there's no other, at least American. I don't know about.
I'm sure
things
manga
like-
probably something like that.
Well, and I don't know about.
like French
um,
books and what have you.
I don't know about things like not Judge Dredd. The 2080.
Yeah,
That might be longer. That's
yeah.
also
maybe
bi-weekly.
maybe something like some of the British kids comic, like the Beano and the Dandy. I think
Yeah.
have been running along. But in terms of America, you think
American 30-day periodic.
You think
periodicals.
Archie would play that up more, but of course Archie doesn't give a damn. So, I think we should move along.
So, talking about depressing things, let's talk about the best thing ever.
let's look at crazy.
It's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah.
It could use a little more Saturday
it's
morning
not as good as our
cast. You're
friendship.
right. You're right. It could use an Antoine in there.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
So Sonic Mega Drive issue 1 of 1. I'll get into my issues with that.
Your issues about this issue?
The issues with the numbering scheme for these books later on. So, Sonic Mega Drive issue 1, written by Ian Flynn, line arts by the amazing Tyson Hess.
The tremendous Tyson.
The Titanic Tyson Hess.
You know what? It's right. We haven't done. So, written by the fantastic Ian Flynn, line art by the tremendous Tyson Hess, colors by, of course,
The Conqueror of Colors!
our boy Matty Erms, the master of lettering Jack Morelli, with again a cover by the terrific Tyson Hess. For anyone who doesn't know, this is obviously it's the gimmick for this issue is it's a kind of a lost classic Sonic game. This is what like Ian was.
Yeah.
So imagine this was like a lost kind of Mega Drive. Get it? Mega Drive
Oh!
game. So obviously I like the number because obviously the last time they did a kind of arc like this was Genesis.
Yeah.
And what I will say though, one of my issues with Genesis was two things I didn't really like about Genesis. One, that sorry Jonathan, but the Archie cast was there. I was expecting more of a game thing, and two, it just did Sonic 1 and 2 because the issues were like Sonic
Yeah.
1, 2, Knuckles, and I was thinking expecting like one issue per game type of thing.
Well, if we look forward, I think we're going to get what you want.
From what we understand, Genesis of a Hero.
It will be 1, 2, CD, and 3 in Knuckles.
Is that what it is?
That's what it looks like from the solicitations. It's going to be 1, 2, CD, and then 3 in, either 3 or 3 in Knuckles.
Because I know, spoiler alert, the solicitations of Part 4 does, like, it states that Sonic and Tails got to aim Joanna to face Knuckles. Like, that's the solicitation.
Yeah,
for that.
but and 3 is all about the little planet.
Huh, okay.
So I assume it's going to be a quick, let's get the classic games in.
That's cool, that's cool. So, there's not really too much of a plot here. The basic plot is, Eggman is finding these devices called the Ancient Gears, which is going to power his new weapon, the Mega Drive. And
You've got to get some blast processing in there. I mean, come on.
the plot really isn't too important. It's kind of like any the classic Sonic games.
It's visual candy.
It is. This is a issue where, not to take anything away from Ian Flynn, but the artwork is what is supreme in this book.
I see the artwork is great. It's very
It's very CD-esque.
It's
very
very
CD
CD
slash
style.
OVA.
yeah. It's very kinetic. There's a lot of movement. Like you can looking through this, you can feel it. You can feel the movement. You can feel the speed. But I would have to say that Ian does a great job of characterization. Like there are some really great lines. Sonic is extremely quippy. Like there's some really good banter in here. So I wouldn't downplay Ian.
Well, no, I'm
for his
not
part.
downplaying Ian, but I think even most of the reviews.
You're out to get him. I know it. I just know it.
It's gonna happen.
You
You're
gotta
dead.
protect my boy Ian.
You're dead, Flynn. You hear me? You're
I'm,
dead.
I'm gonna usurp you as his boy. That sounded weird.
I'm
Like he was
gonna
gonna
take-
adopt me or something.
But I think I can't speak for him, but I think Ian purposely made the plot simplistic.
Well, and here's the other thing. Rereading this, I can really feel the gameplay. Like I wish there was a Sonic game that played like this, especially at the cooperative moments. Because I wish there was a Sonic game where you could hook up with your friends, and like each one of you gets a controller. Each one of you, like TJ, you'll be Knuckles.
Yes.
You'll be Sonic, and then I'll be
Amy.
Amy. And so there would be different
Poor
tasks.
Tails.
That's Bobby was never
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So there'd be different tasks on screen to do. Like they're at one point about to be crushed by this wall that's coming towards them. The person playing as Amy would
Use the hammer.
use the hammer while Tails flies Sonic upwards and does something else. Or when they're fighting the snake, it would be really cool if there were different parts of the snake that each one of you could attack at the same time. Like, Sega should really hire Ian Flynn to write the game and then design the gameplay
What's weird is
with Tyson Hess.
what's weird is two things about the artwork. They travel through 3 different zones in this.
Yeah.
They start in Green Seaside Hill. then
Green
they-
Seaside Zone.
Oh, sorry, zone. Flower Park Zone and Cascade Temple Zone. And each zone has one panel where, and I'm sure Ian put this in the script. It's one panel where the camera, as it was, locked
Yeah.
on in a flat 2D perspective, like the game, and it looks like gameplay.
Yeah.
The best one is, I think, in Green Seaside Hill Zone. Green Seaside Zone. I keep saying hill for some reason. Where the panel of Sonic and Tails kind of crossing a little like river. That looks
Oh,
just
that's
like
beautiful.
something out of it. The way, so when this was first image was first kind of like teased
Yeah.
by Archie, somebody took that and put like a fake like rings tie,
Huh.
and Ian Flynn was like, make this real. No, I wonder though, because it's very classic inspired. I would imagine Sega were like, we have a new game coming out,
Yeah.
classic inspired, do something like that. Although I am surprised why it isn't. It isn't
Sonic
Mania
Yeah.
thing. Which I tweeted at Ian and I was like, we normally get like adaptations.
Yeah.
I was like, are we gonna get anything for Mania, or because of Genesis? So because of Mega Drive and Genesis Over Hero, would that be like classic overkill? I'll be honest with you. I'm looking forward to Genesis Over Hero. I'm just very surprised they're doing that because there's Mega Drive out. It almost feels like it's like it's the same thing almost. In a way,
I mean, I think Genesis of a Hero is retelling the classic
but
story.
it's this. The thing,
This
there's
is-
still classic theme stories so close to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they're
I
both
don't
going to be.
know.
And also, I can't wait for Genesis because that's Tracy on pencils. I can't wait for that. That's going to look fantastic.
I love Tracy, but I mean,
But what?
I'm also not.
You must-
But what?
I'm not like poo-pooing like getting Tyson Hess doing
Oh no,
this.
Tyson
like,
Hess.
this,
Oh, yeah.
this is
Tyson
great.
Hess. This is fantastic. And again, there's not much for. Basically, it starts with Sonic kind of rescues Tails from a giant crab, and then they go to a different zone. And there's
My job's the synopsis.
how long are you gonna take for that? There's not a lot to talk
He's
about.
like halfway through it.
Yeah, you can do the next episode. And then in Flower Park Zone, they come across a robot attack, and Amy's like, let me join you. I can help. I'm no longer weak anymore. As he pulls out a hammer and starts busting stuff up, and he's like,
Yeah.
okay then. And then they go to Cascade Temple Zone, and this is probably everyone's favorite couple of pages, is when Knuckles appears.
I love when he's first introduced, where he's just really small in the corner. He's like, oh, I'm here, I guess. Hey guys.
It's just he talks about how Eggman tricked him again, but like it looks like really bad kind of crayon drawing.
So, one thing to note is that Matt Herms did the colors for everything except for that.
Yeah,
That is completely Tyson
Hess.
Hess.
Yeah, I love it. There's a panel where Sonic goes, "Sonic Street lost his way. I suppose you're right. Which way did he go?" And then he like in Knuckles' brain, he's all buff, like
Yeah.
all muscles in his arms. it's adorable. And then there's the moment, I think I've seen these images redone so much. It's the Sonic kind of holding his temples like,
Yeah.
oh, you mug. And then when he says, you done
Goof
goofed.
knucklehead.
Yeah, and then Knuckles' reaction is great.
So Knuckles in this, do you feel like he might be a tad on the Boom Knuckles dumb side?
No, because he's just really gullible. He's not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's stupid.
Well,
he's
I
just
mean,
really gullible.
I'm also because there are preview pages for the next issue out
Next level.
too. Yeah, the next level out.
Issue 1, which I'll get to that in a minute.
Which also it's like Sonic tricks him into calling himself dumb. So it's like I feel like this Knuckles is a little more Boom Knuckles than I've always felt that classic Knuckles was. But I mean, I'm fine with the like the comedic angle to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more curious about how you would feel about that.
I don't think he's again. I haven't seen those preview pages. I think in this, he doesn't come across the Boom Knuckles. He's gullible. Because if you remember, he gets tricked again in SA1.
It's true.
Straight away he gets tricked again in SA1. So I don't think
Not even puberty can stop his.
I think the one thing that might make it, where you can kind of argue makes him look stupid is just Tyson Hess's extreme drawings of his
Yeah.
reactions. But I don't think I don't read this as him coming off as stupid.
Okay.
And then the book ends with Sonic and team. The Awesome Foursome is back, and they go off to collect more of the ancient gears. We should.
I do like the last time they fight Eggman, when it's a really cool. It's like a reverse of
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth,
They go
and I
down
really
to
love
the-
that.
yeah.
And it's like he busts himself. It's almost, you know what? It almost reminds me of the OVA, where remember how Robo Robotnik falls down and gets like busts in the middle, and
Yeah.
they're like under him and he's like above him. Doesn't that kind of remind you of that?
Kind of. Yeah.
But I love the idea of that being a level, and also I love that they beat the crud out of him afterwards.
And he just flies away saying, "Savages,
yeah.
barely even human."
Whoa.
Oh, because he busts his eggmobile, and he's just like they're just looking at him all smugly. Now let's just take a moment and be calm, rational people about this.
And then it ends with a to be continued. So this is. I'm trying to remember. I think like the week before this was
Yeah.
released, they had announced the next level, issue 1. Now, but my thing going into this, I'm a big fan of Mega Drive. I was expecting a kind of one issue story,
Mhm.
like a one shot. We're not getting that. Obviously, this is and they've at this point they've announced Mega Drive Mega Drive. Oh, what's it like? Overdrive.
Next level, and then Mega Drive Overdrive. Or maybe
Issue-
it's just Overdrive. I don't
Issue
remember.
1.
Yeah.
It's in which they clearly tell in one story, and because next level is 30 pages, I'm going to assume Overdrive is 30 pages.
Well,
they will-
they're all oversized.
No, the
Isn't it?
Mega Drive issue 1 isn't. Mega Drive issue
Isn't
1
it?
is a standard size, which
It was
makes-
$4.99, wasn't it?
No. No.
Swear it was.
Turn
No?
around.
Huh.
Standard size. So essentially, that means that all of the 3 Mega Drive books will equal roughly 4 issues of a standard
Yeah.
book, which means they'll be traded. It also means that
I knew this was going to happen
Yeah.
from,
Well,
from the get go.
well, see, I thought it was just going to be this one thing. As soon as they announced next level, I was like, this will be a trade. This will be either. I thought there'd be 4 issues before it was announced
Yeah.
that next level would be, the size and a half
Yeah.
of an issue.
Are you disappointed that there's not going to be a fourth?
No,
I mean, we don't even know that.
No, I think
but-
it's entirely. I mean, I get why they're doing it, but the fact that they're calling Next Level and Overdrive issues 1 is a cheap marketing tactic, because issue 1's so better.
Well, also, it's really funny because they said, I've heard Archie say, we do not do miniseries anymore. We do not do miniseries anymore. That's not something we do anymore. This is
Why?
essentially a miniseries.
It's a continuing
it's
story.
not.
No, it is. It is a continuing story.
But there's a loophole where it's a bunch of one shots, but it's not a miniseries.
They're not one shots because it's a and this book ends with saying check out the next. It says The adventure continues in Sonic Mega Drive the next level.
Yeah.
It's a continuing story. It's one story. You're just being cheap gits by putting issue. I slap in issue one again. It's not a big deal. It's just lazy and cheap marketing tactics.
Yeah.
But although Mega Drive was the first book in Sonic history to go to a second printing.
No, it isn't.
That's what Archie said.
They don't know what they're talking about.
What was then?
So, in the olden days, there were a ton of books that got up to like 5 printings. I have an 8th printing of a book. Yeah, no, this is not the first book to get a first printing.
So you're saying Archie don't even know their own history. Good job,
I mean,
Archie.
they don't care enough to like they don't care enough to look back and be like, oh hey, Metal Madness, we did like 8 printings of that because everybody wanted it. Because back in those days, they would just do more printings of that.
But back
like
then, independents like to talk about how back then, the books were in like Walmart, and so more
It's
people
true.
would have access
Yeah.
to them. And so just generally in the 90s, books sold better.
Yeah.
The entire industry sold more back then.
I mean, heck,
heck,
Sonic,
guys, heck.
it's better than what TJ said.
Hey, we put a ring sound on there.
Hey, if you wanted it, you should have put a ring sound on it.
Put a ring sound on it.
But I mean, back then, so Sonic Super Special #1, Brave New World. Before that was Sonic Super Special #1. That was actually a one-shot. That was called just Brave New World. They repackaged it with the second printing as a #1 too. So there's all sorts of weird printing history to this book, and this that was really like, no, it's not. Like you just don't remember because it's been 20 years. I don't know. That's my overly geeky, frustrated thing about
So you're
this.
saying, so that's why you are now okay with hating Archie.
It is. It is. I'm like, you don't remember the good old days when everything got like a second printing because...
That was the industry back then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
So T-Bay, thoughts on Mega Drive?
Overall, I liked it. I really love the idea of like this, an unreleased classic Sonic game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already making up names for the next couple levels we're gonna see because I saw the previews of Spooky Crevasse Zone is my new favorite Sonic level.
One pet peeve.
But this is about you. You asked me what I thought.
Good point. Well made.
Hey, if we're going back, heck,
Heck!
I'm still mad about this. The 1/4 preview of Sonic 0, that got a second printing. I have the first and second printing of the 1/4 preview comic. That had us from the very beginning. The Sonic comic has had second printings.
They lost all those records in the fire, Jonathan. Anyway.
Oh, you're right. The fire that made them a very unfriendly to creators, company.
I love
the title treatment for the zones is Sonic 1,
Uh-huh.
but the Sonic they didn't use that. It's in Sonic 1. That's not how those titles should look. They should have done something different.
What do you mean?
So like that, the fact that it has that blue oval
Uh-huh.
only used in Sonic 1.
Okay.
So I was saying, because this is a new game, I would have gone for a different title treatment for the zones. 0 out of 10, do not buy.
Yeah.
But did they also do the this? Or was that Sonic 2?
It's Sonic 2.
That's Sonic 2. Also, yeah, that's Sonic 2.
Yeah, it's a mixture
So
of
it's
Sonic
a mixture
1
of
and
the
2.
two.
Well, not really, because Sonic 2 had
It's a
more...
mixture of the two.
Sonic 2 had like 3 layers to it.
And it was more colorful.
And it wasn't black either.
Yeah.
So you were
Then it
wrong.
is something different.
No, it's not.
Something brand new and
Yeah,
exciting.
I love the kind of like introduction to the zones gameplay panels, because with that you also get the Badniks. So here we have like a Badnik seagull. I love that, and the Badnik sea urchin.
Yeah, I like that they introduced new Badniks. There are Badnik plants in the Badnik vines.
There was also Badnik bumblebees.
Badnik
Yeah.
plants.
That's what he said.
The Badnik gardener that looked kind of like
Yes.
the Axeman from 3.
3K, yeah.
I love these.
Okay, yeah.
They finally made up an onomatopoeia for the sound that it makes when Sonic hits Eggman.
Brack.
Brack.
That's exactly how it sounds.
Tails is comedic gold in this. I'll
Yeah, he's
just
pretty good.
say.
I can't carry it too heavy. Excuse
Lay off the
me.
chili dogs.
Um,
That's you, genius.
Amy's crazy face.
I love the face where Sonic has a spike in his head.
Yes.
It's just like, ow.
I love because they do that twice
Yeah.
in this book where Sonic gets hit by something and rings pop out of him.
Well, this is the first time, to my recollection, that they've actually had the rings pop out.
Yeah, because they don't.
Like in the
That would
the
be.
comic book,
It wouldn't make
doesn't-
much sense, and it would be kind of annoying the whole time. But because this is meant to be a lost game,
Yeah,
totally makes sense why it's in there.
I mean there might be one or two instances that I don't remember. But
The only other outside of the game, the only other thing in media is they put it in Wreck-It Ralph.
oh yeah,
There's a little cameo. Where, in that cameo, they the creators were like, we want a scene where Sonic loses his rings, and Sega were like, that only happens if he gets hit. So they invented a scene where when Ralph's on the ring, like they're like, okay, let's have hit Sonic for no reason. So his rings pop out.
And then last was I love this line where Knuckles is running off after Eggman, and Sonic's like, "Take it easy. Flying off the handle won't get the Master Emerald back." And Knuckles says, "But what if he, I don't know, drops it and shatters it? How would I find all the pieces? It'd be next to impossible."
It's pretty resilient rock, dude. I don't think it can be broken. Wah, wah.
oh,
I'm glad there's a next level, because you know how I said I wish it was if say Mega Drive was just this issue with no follow-ups, I would have felt underwhelmed, it's
why is nobody just ever whelmed?
overwhelmed. Because it's not a complete story, so I am glad there are those follow-up issues. Like this is a great first issue, and I'm hoping if Mega Drive sells well.
That was 100% my concern when they originally announced this book,
Yeah.
and they said it was
If you want more,
a single number one whatever. Not that. I was like okay, Archie has a really hard time about getting Sonic stories into a single issue and having it be a concise story without needing any sort of
Backstory,
exposition from this and blah blah blah. So I was like, if we're gonna get everything in this book that I want there to be, I don't think there's time. So then the fact that like you said, a week or two before it came out, they were like, hey, pre-orders have been so good, we're gonna have Mega Drive 2.
well, and even before that, they were trying to build up. They were trying to get pre-orders up.
They
by
were
being like,
really
hey,
pushing the pre-orders.
if you pre-order them, we might do a second one. They were always going to do a second one.
Totally.
Which it's great that it possibly outperformed their expectations. Like that's what I always hope for these books. And I mean, as much as we may be critical of the company, we still want them to sell these books. We still want people to buy these books.
We are never, unless it comes down to being a bad issue, we oftentimes we are not critical of the creative team, just how the upper management treat the book. That's really the issue we have.
We want you to buy the book. We want you to support that book.
If we did, trust me, guys, if we didn't like this book, we wouldn't waste our time doing all these podcasts about it.
And
we just send tweets to people.
I know that some people out there, feel like it's some sort of moral obligation not to buy the book. Like, not to buy the book because the company, is not always the best. Or is not, great.
So you're saying you're trying to say that some people don't buy the book in protest because they're like, you don't.
But what I'm saying is,
the world burn.
What I'm saying is,
the
buy
book
the
is
book.
the size of a tangerine.
Buy the book because
No, that's the digest,
you're
sorry.
supporting. You're not just supporting Archie. You're supporting the people that make the book. You're supporting Ian. You're supporting Tracy. You're supporting everyone
Jeff
from
Fernandez,
Vincent
Conqueror
Lovato
of
down.
Colors, Matty Holmes.
Yeah,
And-
you're supporting them. You're supporting their career.
To be honest, specifically Ian Flynn is a comic book content creator who has lost 50% of his income in the last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Well,
honestly,
it kind of in the space of. Well, in the space of because first it was just these two, and then Mega Man, so.
And you know, I wouldn't bring this up if I didn't know that this actually does happen. Because I've talked to creators that have actually had who work on the book and actually have had people come up and be like, I love the book, but I just I can't support it because of Archie. Like I've talked to
Ian said that?
I've talked to creators, I don't want to name drop, that have said things to that extent. And it's like you have to think of it as you're supporting the people that write and draw and edit and color and ink and letter this book. Like, you're supporting them in their careers. You're trying to further that.
I can understand dropping it if you don't like the book itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean this is not time for a third party vote, is what we're saying. You need to buy the book. I mean, obviously, if you don't like the book, then don't buy it. Obviously, no point doing that. But yeah, I think because ultimately, I don't think like say the book got cancelled. I can't see Archie caring, like Opperman and Archie's really giving that much of a crap.
But if the book goes out, that's a lot of people that don't have a job anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest concerns. And that's why
Flynn for everything.
Hashtag Flynn for everything. It's like also, I also want to state the creators also have other things going on. A lot of them do. So, check out their Twitters, check out their social media, see what they're doing.
I love them.
Maddie Herms is doing Morphe
Rangers.
Power Man.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Maddie Herms. And I love as well Sonic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, but I've got a few issues of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The artwork on that, he needs some kind of award. And it's a shame because these books, like, I feel like because obviously these books are marketed more towards children. I feel like these books just ignored when it comes to like awards season. I think especially in terms of.
Well, I think it's also because they're a licensed book. Licensed books don't typically get the awards.
But you think for something like, I mean, I can as much as I absolutely love the writing in this book, I can understand it not being as accessible as something as maybe say like a Batman or a Spider-Man. But in terms of just the artwork, the fact that like Tracy's never been nominated for something.
I mean, I think the Harvey Awards should really look at some of these guys.
I think it's just the problem is that like they'll look at something like like Jonathan said, the more independent stuff is what wins the award.
Well, the Simpsons comic won an Eisner. If they can win that, why
DC
can't
and Marvel?
What did they win?
Hawkeye won an Eisner, but I personally believe
that was that's an oddity though, because Hawkeye overall was it was approached as like an indie book because the story was different, the artwork was highly different than anything we'd ever seen before. So that's pretty. But when it comes to licensed stuff, you have a jumping off point. Well, that's the problem. That's why it doesn't win any awards.
Also, if you look at mainstream Marvel DC, that's one boundary. That's one boundary between the people that do the Eisner Awards, the people that do awards like that. That's one boundary. You put another boundary in place when it's, a Hasbro property, a Sega property, some other, another property. That's like two boundaries that you have to break through. Because I personally think Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, that is an excellently written book. Mm-hmm. And that should get some sort of critical award.
Mega Man.
Mega Man was great.
Book. Again, I think the Mega Man book blows Sonic out of the water. Like, that is a book where I'm like...
Some of the themes it tackles.
Give that book some awards.
Well, I mean, Ian
we should invent an award for Ian Flynn.
The Flinny?
You're gonna hear it here first. We're gonna invent an award and present it to Ian Flynn at Heroes Con 2017. We're gonna get a trophy made for him and give it to him. We're gonna come up with a name. We're gonna present him with.
Can we just be a batter on the top of the?
I was thinking of
you hit it out of the park, Ian.
We should get a bowling trophy and just like we should find one like Goodwill. We just cross out someone's name and put Ian Flynn bowling trophy 1970.
We should get a bowling trophy with Homer on top and just like, oh,
You really bowled a strike on that one.
But
the bowley.
the Bolly Awards. But yeah, Mega Drive Issue 1, a lot of fun. By the time you're hearing this, I think Next Level comes out at the end of November.
Yeah,
I
sometime
think
in
so. It'll be
November.
out fairly soon. But
2 main book issues in November.
and Universe and Universe.
And
November's 2 trades, two main store issues, Universe and Mega Drive 2. November's a good month. I'll give it some credit. Good month is gonna be November's gonna be a good expensive month for us.
I mean, Christmas is going to be a little light, but no, my
November's-
birthday is good. My birthday is good. Christmas is going to be a little light.
So we go. I'm sure you can still find Mega Drive 1. It was a good selling Sonic book. But yeah, we're back with says I think next episode rather, we will be tackling the Sonic Universe arc, Eggman's dozen, and then we'll be going back to the main book. I know we had a poll a few months ago where we were gonna what people wanted to hear next. We do have plans for we have interview guests lined up, and we do plan to tackle STC, but we thought it'd be better if we got caught up first. So the next 4 episodes are gonna be just us getting caught up.
Yeah.
With Universe and the main book. So yeah, so thank you everyone for listening. We're glad to be back. We'll be back very soon. We're gonna try and get caught up by the end of the year. So I've been FTA.
I've been Jono.
Tron.
Every moment I live is on the
Good night, everybody.